Hello students. So in previous class discussion was about memory mapped functions. I hope the concepts are clear. So in today's class that I am going to discuss the replacement algorithms. You might be knowing some of the replacement algorithms. This is basically for the optimal utilization of the computer memory, right? So as you know, in a directed mapped cache or in a direct mapped cache, the position of each block is predetermined, hence no replacement strategy exists in case of direct mapped cache. But in associative and set associative caches, there exists some flexibility. Here, when a new block is to be brought into the cache and all the positions that it may occupy are full, then the cache controller must decide which of the old block to overwrite or which of the old block to replace. So this is an important issue because decision can be a strong determined factor in the system performance. So in general, the objective is to keep blocks in the cache that are likely to be referenced in the near future. However, it is not easy to determine which block are about to referenced. So the property of locality of reference in programs gives a clue or a hint to a reasonable strategy because the programs usually stay in a localized area for reasonable periods of time. There is a high probability that the blocks that have been referenced recently will be referenced again and again or referenced soon. Therefore, when a block is to be written, it is sensible to overwrite the one that has gone the longest time without being referenced. So this block is called as the least recently used block, and the technique is known as LRU replacement strategy or LRU replacement algorithm. That is least recently used algorithm, right? So this algorithm is very important. Least recently used replacement algorithm. I hope this concept is clear. That is when a block is to be overwritten, so it is sensible to overwrite the one that has gone the longest time without being referenced or without being used. So this block is known as least recently used block, and the technique is known as LRU replacement technique or LRU replacement algorithm. So to use LRU algorithm, the cache controller must track references to all the blocks as the computational or computation proceeds. Suppose it is required to track the LRU block of a 4 block set in a set associative cache. Here a 2-bit counter can be used for each block. So when a hit occurs, means when a cache hit occurs, then the counter of block that is referenced is set to 0. Here counters with the values originally lower than the referenced one are incremented by 1 and all other will remain unchanged. So when a miss occur means when a cache miss occurs and the set is not full, then the counter associated with the new block which is loaded from the main memory is set to 0 and the values of all other counters are increased by 1. So when a miss occurs and the set is full, then the block with counter value 3 is removed and the new block that is put in its place and its counter is set to 0. The other three counters that are incremented by 1, so it can be easily verified that the counter values of occupied blocks are always distinct. Here the LRU algorithm has been used extensively. So even though it performs well for many access patterns, but it can lead to poor performance in some of the cases. For example, it produces disappointing results when the accesses, that is when the memory accesses are made to the sequential elements of any array that is slightly too large to fit into cache. Here, the performance of the LRU algorithm can be improved by introducing a small amount of randomness in deciding which blocks to replace. And several other replacement algorithms are also used in practice. So, a reasonable rule would be remove the oldest block from the full set when a new block must be brought in. However, because this algorithm does not take into account the recent pattern of access to blocks in the cache, so it is generally not as effective as LRU algorithm in choosing the best block to remove or the best block to replace. The simplest algorithm is to randomly choose the block to be overwritten. So interestingly, it is enough because this simple algorithm has been found to be quite effective in practice. So this is all about the replacement algorithms. And as we have seen, the one of the most commonly used replacement algorithm, that is LRU. The next comes the performance considerations, right? In performance considerations, the two key factors in the commercial success of a computer are performance and cost, that we know. So the best possible performance at lowest cost is the objective. The challenge in considering the design alternatives is to improve the performance without increasing the cost. So a common measure of success is a price or the performance ratio. That is price performance ratio. It is a common measure of success. Price performance ratio. So in this section, as I will discuss some of the specific features of the memory design that lead to the superior performance, right? Here, the performance depends on how fast the machine instructions can be brought into the processor for execution and how fast they can be executed. The memory hierarchy, as it is described in one of the previous section. So always the memory hierarchy it results from the quest for the best performance ratio or price performance ratio. The main purpose of this hierarchy is to create a memory that the processor sees as having a short access time and the large capacity. So each level of hierarchy plays an important role here. So the speed of and the efficiency, that is the speed and efficiency of data transfer between the various levels of the hierarchy are also a great significance. So it is very beneficial if it transfers to and from the faster units that can be done at a rate which is equal to that of the faster unit. So this is not possible in practical if both the slow and fast units are accessed in the same manner. But it can be achieved when a parallelism is used in the organization of the slower unit. An effective way to introduce the parallelism is to use an interleaved organization. So that is an effective way to introduce the parallelism, that is using the interleaved organization, that is interleaved memory organization. So now I will discuss what exactly the interleaving or the interleaved memory organization and all, right? Here, if the memory of a computer is structured as the collection of physically separate modules, where each with its own address buffer register, that is the ABR, and the data buffer register, that is the DBR, and the memory access operations may proceed in more than one module at the same time. Hence, the aggregate rate of transmission of words to and from the main memory system can be increased, right? Here, how the individual addresses that are distributed over the modules is very critical in determining the average number of modules that can be kept busy as the computations proceed. So there are two methods of address layout which are illustrated in this figure. Here one method I have illustrated, and in the next slide I am going to illustrate the one more method. So in this particular case, that is in the first case, the memory address which is generated by the processor is decoded as it is shown here. The high order k bits name, so one of n modules, and the low order m bits name a particular word is in that module. When conjugative locations are accessed, as it happens when a block of data is transferred to a cache, only one module is involved. So at the same time, however, it derives with DMA ability, that is a direct memory access ability, which may be accessing the information in the other memory modules. So this is one method. I hope this method is clear. I'll repeat. As you can see here, the memory address which is generated by the processor, that is decoded here. See here, this memory address is decoded like this, which is in terms of two bits. One is module and one is address in modules, right? Like this it is decoded. Here the higher order k bits name one of m modules, and the low order m bits name which is a particular word in that module. So when the conjugative locations are accessed, as it happens when a block of data is transferred to a cache, here only one module is involved. At the same time, however, devices with the DMA ability may be accessing information in the other memory modules. So this is the first method of the address layout. The second and the more effective way to address the module is shown here as illustrated in this figure. It is called memory interleaving. Here the low order k bits of the memory address select a module, and the high order m bits name a location within that module. In this way, the conjugative addresses are located in the successive modules. Hence, any component of the system that generates the request for access to the conjugative memory location can keep several modules busy at any one time. So this result in both faster access to a block of data and higher average utilization of the memory system as a whole. So to implement the interleave structure, there must be 2 raised to k modules. Otherwise, there will be a gap of non-existence locations in the memory address space. So this is what the today discussion, and rest of the concepts that I will discuss in the next class. Thank you.